Well, thank you. I appreciate you cleaning your whole schedule around me. I really do.
Oh, no, not at all. You're fine. I just got back from vacation, so this was very,
perfect.
easy.
Okay, well, where'd you go? What did you do? Mattie?
You're cutting out really bad. I can't see you.
You
It
can't
could be me.
Okay. Well,
You're frozen.
All right, dearie, give
It's
me
like
a
a frozen postcard.
All right, we just went Facebook Live. Give me one quick second, guys. Everybody that's tuning in, we're just doing a little bit of technical difficulties. I will be right back. I gotta give them a minute.
Okay.
Chris, just talk to them for a second, please. Dad, I'm frozen on her.
Hi guys, just want to let you guys know that we're just having some storms here, so the internet and Wi-Fi signal is a little spotty, so we're trying to just figure that out.
Mattie,
thank you for your patience.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
I can hear you much better now at the present moment. Yes.
Okay, you can hear me now.
I just want to make yes, for the most part.
Okay, but you can hear me. I sound good on your end, right?
Okay, now I can't hear you. Now it's glitchy.
Okay, it's glitching. All right, let me see. Now I can't hear you. Can we end the stream and restream?
We have to create a new stream on.
Yeah, you have to put it.
Yeah.
You just have to end the stream and then restart it.
So that's what we should do.
Okay, so we're gonna end the stream and you're gonna send her a new link.
No, same link.
Okay, same link. Okay, so what we're gonna do real quick, Mattie, before we start the show, because we didn't start yet, we're going to end this and we're gonna. You're just gonna click on. Is she just clicking on the? I don't know. Maybe she's clicking on the same.
Just same.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna end this and you're gonna click on the same link. Okay.
If not, we'll do another one. Don't end stream. Just hit leave studio.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna do leave studio. Okay.
Yep.
Take your time. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, leave studio.
Do you want to take? I don't know what to do.
Hey guys. I'm gonna wait for them to bring me a new link, which I think I just got, and then we will get this going. We'll definitely do it. Let's see. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, they'll be sending a new link soon. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll be sending a new link soon. We'll be right back.
Same link. Okay. Now you got to go back in here and put your. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So you should be back on the stream.
All right, just make sure. Can you just sit for a second?
I'm not going nowhere.
Stay nearby, because if this is the case, we'll see if she's free tomorrow. I'm done at 6. You could just set me up on StreamYard. Can I use StreamYard here and do my show?
Relax, team.
I'm just trying to think of something in case it was.
You're good.
Don't panic. You can't control the weather, Dan.
Bad.
Can't control the weather. Look at all the interviews that went great.
There's like 8 people in the room.
One interview went great, You're live on Facebook now, so when you're talking, you get it.
Hi, everyone. I am just waiting on my guest. I apologize. We had a delay currently. I don't know if we're still technically in a storm watch. We're going to see if we can pull up Miss Mattie Rose. Okay, let me see. Mattie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, I can hear you now. Much better.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So we are actually going to start a 30-second countdown, and I'm going to come back and introduce you and start the show. If there's any issues and you cannot hear me, please let me know. We'll only know you saying it. Okay?
Will do.
All right. So give me 1 second. We're just going to do a 30-second countdown, everybody. Maybe a short delay during the show, everyone, but you guys can all just take a listen, and we're starting the show.
Next one down. There you go.
evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Welcome to the Dani Perro Show in the home studio today. We are so excited to welcome wonderful musician from Nashville, Texas as well, Miss Mattie Rose. We appreciate your time for being with us today. Welcome back from vacation.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I just want to give a shout out as well for everyone tuning in. If there's a short delay with the timing or anything, we are currently, I think, under a little storm watch in New Jersey. So it might be like 5 to 8 seconds, but we are doing our best to make sure everybody can understand the show tonight. All right, Mattie. So I wanted to get started a little bit with yourself. So I know that you previously started getting into music, or I should say singing, at a certain age. You were around 3 years old when you first got more interested in music, being a little kid.
Yeah, I was very young. I was in the back of my mother's Tahoe, I think, at the time. And I was with my aunt, her sister, just singing princess songs in the back. And my aunt was like, that's not normal. She should not be able to do that at 3 years old. So it just kind of stuck. Yeah, it was great. My mom put me in voice lessons, and then I just kind of stuck with it.
With that being said, getting an idea to start singing, those types of songs and understanding and probably like memorizing them at that age, that's also huge, because it's like your brain is still developing a lot more of, everything out there in the world. But learning all the Disney songs is like a must-have when you're, a kid, to sing along to the radio or when it's playing on the, the different type of track or anything like that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely abnormal for a 3-year-old, but it seemed to work out.
So moving forward a little bit, past 3 years old, maybe 4, 5, 6 to 10, music was still something that you did look into. I know you said you were doing a lot like lesson wise and stuff when you were younger. Was this stuff that you also continued doing growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I got super into musical theater and loved it. Had a wonderful time. Realized I am an awful actress, the absolute worst. I am terrible. So I stuck with music and was like, I've always really loved country music. So let me just go crazy with that a little bit. And so I started writing at 16 for fun. And then I never stopped. And now I'm still doing the same thing.
Well, the fun part of that is learning country when you were younger, or getting an idea of what you like versus being a musician now. There's so much you can do adding to the country music kind of genre for yourself, making your own, type of track and different, speciality you want to do in the music industry. So with country, you can make it any way that you please. You could do country pop, country rock, country R&B, Western. Yeah. You just put your own kind of spin to it, I think. And let me ask you this, because every time I have a musician on my show, I love to know why you choose country as your genre. What is your story of where you feel like country music kind of made a calling to you? Whether it was like how old you were, or you're like, oh, this song was like, okay, I want to do this.
Okay. I think just growing up in Texas was a big deal for me. Just kind of growing up with people like Pat Green and Patsy Cline and Merle Haggard, always being on the radio, or at least in the back of my dad's Cherokee. I kind of grew up with it, and there was never a time where I didn't love it, whether I was singing it or just listening to it. Usually up until I was about 16, it was just listening. But it reminds me a lot of my parents. And so being able to make music that not only reminds me of my childhood and other people's childhoods, it reminds me of them. So I think it connects me to them in a way that I can't always connect with them, since they still live in Fort Worth, Texas, and I live about 50-50 there and 50-50 in Nashville. So I don't get to see them all the time. So it connects me to them and the rest of my family and friends I grew up with.
Do you also feel like with country music, it could be very storytelling? I feel like that's like a huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. Country music is super I love all music. I listen to everything. Clearly, I mostly listen to country, but I try to mix it up and listen to some Renee rap every once in a while. But I think, listening to all these different amazing genres, country music has always been the one it's a story every time. You can see a music video in your head every single time, and it's got a beginning and an end.
All the songs are so catchy, and whether or not it's a story, it's like something about beer or grass or like anything that you could like say, hey, this is definitely going to be in a country song. And it would be the craziest thing, like a chicken on the road. You know what I mean? Like the craziest thing, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. But hey, it's a country song. So they make it more fun that way.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also super fun for yourself as an artist, because having an idea to do a lot of storytelling, or whether or not you're just writing music. Natty, you can think of anything your heart desires. Even if inspiration doesn't come with like your family member or friends, you could just look outside and watch somebody like mowing their lawn.
Yeah, truly.
Texas kind of just gives you some inspiration of like, hey, he mowed his lawn incorrectly, so there should be a song, or just something like that. It's like it's so quick and like amazing. So I feel like you have the best job of living in a southern type part of like the world, because you get to explore and learn more. Being
absolutely, yeah, it's been a blessing for sure. Say that again for me. I almost gotcha.
I said, being in New Jersey, I don't get a chance to see any of that. I have to go to Georgia or South Carolina, North Carolina to be like, oh yeah, I'm in the country scene. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting, like growing up in Texas, but then moving to Nashville, it's a completely different scene. Like personally, yes, in country music, you can write whatever you want, but it's so competitive in Nashville, and in the best way. Everybody's competitive, but also collaborative. So it's nice to see everybody do that. But there's so many different, like you said, so many different subsets of country music. Like I fit closer into the Western Texas country, which is a lot different than pop country, but there's this huge pop country market over here that wants to be a part of everything. And so you go to Georgia and North Carolina and South Carolina, you're going to get a lot of Appalachia and a lot of real steel and banjo and fiddle and that real hype beat. Yeah. And you go down to Texas and you're going to find a train beat and a bass and a steel guitar. And so it's the little differences that make these genres so interesting, but it's like the South is its own. It has like 12 different parts of the South where the music is so different, and it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Depending on now from Texas to where you currently live versus Nashville, is it very far where you kind of moved? Is it close by? Is it kind of like a different genre era for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, Nashville is a pretty big kind of melting pot of country music and other music. Recently, a lot of indie music has come through Nashville. But, I live 9.5 hours from home. And I definitely say that Texas country is much different than what some would consider Nashville country, which is typically pop country. But I think Texas country has a lot more grit and grind to it. It's more something that you'd probably find a welder or a tractor driver listening to rather than someone down on Broadway with their white cowboy boots on, because they've never worked a day like that in their life. And that's fine. But I think the difference is the people that relate to it because they genuinely have that experience versus the people that enjoy it just because they enjoy it. And it's kind of the dream life, if you will. I think in Nashville is a lot of the dream life, which is wonderful. But in Texas, you've got those real blue collar people that just are listening to it because it's their life.
It's completely different in Nashville. I've never been there. I always want to go. I've had so many guests from Nashville. It makes me feel like I want to reach out to everyone and be like, hey, help me out. I'm going to Nashville. Tell me where to go. Tell me where I can see you, because it's definitely a staple in my life that I have to go to, because I just think it's amazing. I mean, everybody talks about Nashville being like, number one place versus like Hollywood or Bollywood or anything like that.
Yeah. I think everyone's, like you said, everyone talks about Nashville as being the number one country hub. And to an extent, I think that's true. I think, there's so many songwriters here, co-writers. I love my co-writers. They are incredible. They are the most talented people I know, the kindest people I know, and the hardest working. But, it's different from the people down in Texas, that Texas is its own melting pot. It's almost like a pot that stays within itself. I mean, from artists like Wyatt Flores coming down from Oklahoma And small artists right now growing, like Braxton Keith, he's, got 300,000 listeners on Spotify a month and doing all of this, but he's strictly Texas. His shows are in Texas. He records in Texas. I've never met him, but I'd love to. He does so much in Texas. It's like if you are a Texas artist, you're in Texas. If you're a Nashville artist, your goal is to kind of be a little bigger and to expand. And a lot of the time, that Texas artist, like myself, runs to Nashville at a certain point in their career because that's where the industry is. So I'd say as far as the growth of an artist, especially an independent artist, is going to come from Nashville. But there's so many small and independent record labels in Texas that can do that same thing. It just depends. What's your goal in your career? Do you want to play for people at Green Hall in New Braunfels, Texas for, 500 to 1,500 people? Is that your goal? Great. Or do you want to sell out stadiums? It's
go Grand Ole Opry and then everything else in between for Nashville. Yeah, exactly. Now, with that being said, Mattie, because I'm so curious, and I know it's a little far from home as what you were saying from Texas to where you are in Nashville. Where did that kind of go from where you were like, you do want to do something kind of different? Was that more the fact that you were like, yes, you see where the industry is and you want to take it for a chance? Is that, or like grow as a growing artist? Like, is that something that you think you wanted to do?
I grew up coming to Nashville every year with my dad for the Country Music Awards. We had a friend that would help us get tickets and we would go every year. And I just fell in love with the city. And I fell in love with Belmont University, where I recently graduated from college with a music business degree. Thank you.
Congratulations. And that's exciting. That's not on your bio.
Yeah, it was great. No, it's not, but it was wonderful. I learned so much at Belmont. And I did it very fast. I graduated in 3 years. I didn't take a break because I was like, I want to do this. I want to learn as much as I can and get going.
That's incredible.
So, but I think my goal has always been to kind of split my time between Texas and Tennessee, but also to just bring that Texas sound to Nashville because there's not a lot of it. Me and my co-writers have a great deal that we do. We play out a lot. We do a lot of free shows. Actually, we do all free shows because it's a very saturated market, but a lot of Nashville is about the co-writing. And so that's what drew me, is that in Texas, it's such a big place. Texas is the industry for music, but Nashville is so small and concise that you can meet someone every day. You can find a new connection. You can make new friends. No matter what, your life is going to move every single day. Versus Texas, you can fit all of Europe in Texas. So it's a little hard to get around and meet people every day and find those connections. I mean, I grew up 25 minutes from the nearest Kroger. So who knows? But I think what drew me here was just the idea of doing something different from the people I knew in my hometown. I grew up in a very small town. But, a lot of people wanted to be builders or be construction or pilots. And that was never me. I was like, I want to be the one person that does the weird thing and goes over here and goes far away from home and just does it.
Something different.
That's kind of, where I went with it.
With that, I think that's exciting, especially for yourself. I mean, being how old you are you mid-20?
I'm 21.
Okay, so you are. That was a good guess. You're welcome. I did good on that guess.
That was perfect.
20 and understanding what you want to do for your career and, getting a nice taste of Nashville out there for yourself and your music. I think that's also really big for you, and it's a huge, big step in your career. So wish you a lot of luck in that as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about, so I know previously you just released something April of this year.
I did.
As opposed to that, not even reading your bio, I was just talking to Chris off air, and I was like, there's a headshot that she sent me that says Mrs. Wright. And I was trying to understand exactly what that meant. Then reading your bio, I was like, oh, there it is. So I wanted to know if you can give me a little bit of information as opposed to the newest single that you had released April of this year. I think it was April 1st.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I think I can kind of give like a little just backstory on that song. One day I was in Texas kind of listening to just some very, very, very country music. I mean, some downright dirty country music. And I was like jamming so hard. So I went to our little
I said nothing wrong with that.
I went into Yeah, right. I went into our little kind of makeshift music room we made for me in high school, which is just the guest bedroom with a guitar. It's nothing interesting. But I was just jamming out and having a good time, and I had this little melody in my head, like da na 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 na. It's like, oh, that's fun. Let me do something with that. And I was thinking to myself how so many women go to bars to just have a good time and get a free drink here and there and just meet people and not go home with anybody, not be too sloshed, nothing like that. They just want to have fun with their girlfriends. And so that's kind of where my head was at that moment of like, gosh, I've been to a bar so many times where I'm so annoyed because I'm trying to be like, no, leave me alone. I'm not, please leave me alone. And my friends are always that way too. But we do want a free drink. So the idea was, I'm going to have fun with you. I'm welcome to get a free drink, but I am not your Mrs. Right. I'm not going home with you. I'm not going to marry you. I'm not doing any of this. I'm done. So that was kind of it was more of a frustration song than anything, but it's more of a girl power song than I'm used to writing. But I had a lot of fun with it. My friends really liked it. So they asked me, they're like, you should put this one out. We want to listen to it all the time. So it was more for my girlfriends than anything, but it's a very fun and simple song. Yeah.
I love that. If you look at the headshot, it definitely looks like the frustration is a little real, or just like you want to pull your hair out. Just because of that, type of situation where it's like, as you said, you want to do it for your friends, but then you want to make sure they know that even though you're getting a free drink, I'm not going home with you. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Even though you guys are my friends, I love you, but you could do all this on your own afterwards. That's basically like an anthem, I guess, to your friends, or just to make sure everything.
Yeah, that was definitely the goal. Yeah, for sure.
Where did that kind of come from? Was it like inspiration, like were your friends asking you, will you go out with me? Can we get drinks? Like, I mean, out of like all the songs you could write, right? Versus it being Mrs. Right. I think it's more of like the fact that maybe it was like you were talking to your friends, or they were like, hey, I wanted to go out to drink, but you won't do this. Or you're like, I'm going to turn this around a little bit and say, I'll go out to drink with you, but then I'm not going home with you. I'll drop you off here or whatever. Like you're like their bystander, right? You're kind of like watching them, being a good like bodyguard type of friend, conservative.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just I think the inspiration was more from the standpoint of dealing with, I'm trying to be as nice as possible, dealing with men in country and western bars.
That's okay.
They're very forward. Yeah, they're very forward, and most of them. No, it's not bad. They're just, most of them are very kind, but they're drinking and they have a tendency to, want to get some, and I get it. I understand, but I'm not that person. I never have been. My friends aren't either. So that was kind of the inspiration for it, was just like, no, we can have fun, but we're not leaving the bar together. I'm going home with my friends. You're going home with your friends. No one's doing anything bad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more of a girl power thing more than anything. And honestly, I write so many, and I'm happy to. I love this, but I write a lot of sad songs, a lot of missing you songs, a lot of heartbreakers. And I found myself one day writing, for the first time in months, writing something upbeat and not so sappy, even though I am a perfectly happy person right now. And so I was like, man, this is something different that I don't usually get into, and people are really enjoying it when I play out and showing it to my parents, my friends. So let me do something more upbeat so that when I release some more sad stuff, people have something to kind of jazz it up with.
Let's talk a little bit about when you write a song for yourself. Now, I love to ask this question for different artists because it always depends on how you get the taste of the music. Is it your rhythm first, as opposed to like on your guitar, or I don't know if you do piano, anything like that? Or is it your lyrics that come first before you start writing? Is it a tune or is it lyrics?
Usually, it's usually in the most random of places. A lot of the times it's the shower. where
Okay.
I'm just kind of humming and, you know, thinking about music and what's inspiring me lately. And
The time where you get a chance to relax, right? That's where.
yes, yeah, exactly. Right?
Some of
Yeah,
our
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And so I usually am just like, oh, that's a cool melody. Let me go just play along my guitar and see what fits, what doesn't. Let me just have some fun. And then I kind of just say to myself, you know, what are you thinking about right now? What's on your mind? Because I want everything I write to be not only straightforward, but genuine. You know, I think a lot of songs where a lot of songs struggle nowadays is that it is always about something very easy rather than something that's very hard to comprehend.
Okay.
And I think that's the nice thing about country music is we've all been through a lot. Every person on this planet has been through a lot. So I think some of the best times to write a song are when you're going through a lot. And usually for most people, at least in my experience, that's late at night when you're by yourself. That's when you think about all the things you've done wrong in your life and all the good things in your life. Everybody does that at the end. Right, exactly. So for me, it's more so when I'm feeling a strong feeling, I go write something down. And then if I get a verse or usually a chorus out, then I text one of my co-writers. Recently, it's been my buddy Brett Pennington. But I text him and I'm like, hey, I wrote this. I love it. Do you want to help me? He is the most incredible songwriter I've ever met in my life. So usually he's got better ideas than I do. I'm also a very average guitar player. So I usually look for help elsewhere. Yes. And I think the best way to write a song is to collaborate. You know, when you have an idea, let someone else bring in their experience and their emotions and their thoughts and put it into the song as well. And I think that's what makes something for everyone. Like a song should be something for everyone. If you write a song from only your point of view, it's hard to connect with it. So bringing it to co-writers, whether 2, 3, 4, however many, usually 2 or 3, you now have the ability to bring in a completely new point of view.
And then you kind of
that's kind of
and you kind of also get a feel, I guess, with it too, is when you're talking to Brett or any of your co-writers, you know, as opposed to an idea that you had, whether or not you give it to them, do you give them music or do you only give them lyrics? Or do you
usually give them both?
Okay.
Usually I will give them both. Yeah, I will usually play guitar live for them. And most Nashville musicians, you don't necessarily have to write much down other than the lyrics. As long as you play it for them and you play it in front of them, they can pick it up pretty quickly.
For the guitar, then you're perfectly fine. Like you won't forget the beat or anything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually if I write a song and I love it, I will not forget it. Not very fast, at least.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
probably
usually
make yourself like not annoyed of it, but you probably make yourself like, okay, this is the song that I want. This is what I want. I'm gonna make it this, you know, as best as I can, you know, until
the vision.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, in case anything ever happens, but you always make it yours. And whether or not you're listening to other, you know, music or inspirations in the field, I mean, I wanted to ask you as well, who would you say are your inspirations in for you know, country music? Like you growing up.
One more time. Like, there was such a fun little noise that came across my screen, and I have no idea what you said.
Oh, no, that's okay. I wanted to know who were.
Yeah, you're good now. I can hear you.
Who were some of the inspirations, right, that you felt like you were kind of leaning towards for music? Like, who do you look up to?
Absolutely. I tell everyone the same 2 women. It's one is my mom. She is the strongest person I know. She is so kind, and all of the things I one day am. I look up to her immensely, her and my dad, but she has, you know, raised 2 kids and done it incredibly well and not been given enough credit. So I look up to her for everything. But other than that, for music purposes, it's Patsy Cline. She is my all-time favorite artist. She's a 1960s country artist. She was incredible, died way too young. And anytime I need inspiration or I feel a writer's block, I go listen to her. And she just brings me right back.
And just tries to help you kind of get, if you ever had like an issue or hard time. Now, with your mom being your inspiration as well, which is so beautiful and very dedicated for yourself, how did she feel when she started seeing you perform like live and everything? Was she like she knew that you were going to be a singer one day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. She put me in everything I could. Once she saw that I liked it, she's like, you're going to do everything. She's like, you're going to play sports and you're going to do music in every single form. And we just had a blast. I have been with the same vocal coach for, I don't have a vocal coach anymore. It's more like I text her when I need her at this point. But since I was 8 years old, I had the same coach until I was 15, I think.
Okay,
And she was absolutely incredible. Yeah, long time. She taught me everything I know. Every time my vocal cords hurt or I need to remember some technique, I think about her. And she kind of is just my third grandmother, I like to say. I have 5 because I have 2 on each side from divorced grandparents. But she kind of became my 5th grandmother, and she taught me everything. And I would not be where I am without Mrs. S. She's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, I love that. See, this is other things that you can do in your songs as an artist. You can always do give backs or shout outs or write a song about them. And then they don't know it's about them. And then you show them that it's about them.
Repeat that one more time for me.
I was saying that you can also, as a musician, write a song about them, your inspirations, right? You have the opportunity to do that. Or you can surprise them and be like, hey, I wrote like a little niche song about you. Just wanted to give you a heads up so you're aware. You know, you always have the opportunity to do something different as an artist.
That's so true. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, one of my most inspiring movies right now is Tombstone, which is an old Western. Okay. And it's a fantastic movie. It's gosh, who's in that movie? Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday. He's incredible. It's like the most iconic character of all time. And so right now I'm kind of in this little headspace of, gosh, I want to write a song about that movie so bad. There's just so much substance. I'm like, where do I start? But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, take it clip by clip. I guess. Yeah. I have not seen this movie. Does sound very interesting. I'm sure it is. So take it clip by clip. You know, and see kind of what works best for you. Where is in the movie is it pulling you where you're like, I want to do something? Because that, as a musician, that's what you do with your career. Anything you hear or see, versus politics, you do. Anything you hear or see on TV is inspiration for you, right? It's anything that you're like, oh my God, like everybody loves this tune. Well, let me try to do this tune as a cover with my voice, you know, to put yourself out there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty interesting, but it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, you're right. I should take it clip by clip. Honestly, that's funny that I've never even thought about that, but I'm going to do that.
You mentioned it on my show, so I'm just trying to make sure your dream happens. You never know what's going to happen if you do that type of thing. You know?
Yeah.
What I want to say definitely for you as well is with your inspiration and the music that you're putting out there for yourself, do you do any covers as well, or is it all independent music for yourself? Like just for your...
Yeah. The artist's dream is, of course, to do original music, but I do love to post covers on my socials and play covers at gigs and just kind of pay tribute to the artists and the songs that influenced my life at the time. And it changes all the time. But I do a lot of posting of covers on my socials. I think that's one of the best ways to kind of draw people to your page, is to post a song that they might like too.
Yeah, or different, like singing a chorus differently or anything. You know, just put your own spin on it. That's kind of what you need to do, you know, to draw in, you know, best clientele for yourself and fan group as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was a little curious because we were talking about how you recently just promoted Mrs. Right, which was April of this year. Is there more music in the works for yourself? Are you always looking to create and promote more music or write? I'm sure you're always constantly writing as well.
Oh yeah, always writing. I have a co-write this week, actually a couple this week and next week, but always writing. I am going into the studio this November to record 2 singles and 2 duets. with a great friend of mine whose name I can't say yet, but he is wonderful. So it's a male-female duet. And Brett, who I told you about, wrote a song 6 years ago called Neon Has a way before we even met. And he brought it to me and said, you want to sing this with me as a duet for fun at a little show in town? I was like, sure, let's do it. And it stuck. And we were absolutely obsessed with it. We are absolutely obsessed with it. We will be obsessed with it in the future. But we're recording that one in November with a buddy of mine on the male part. And we cannot wait. It is an incredible song that we are so excited for everybody to hear. And we do play it out in Nashville a lot. So if you're ever here, let me know. I can show you around.
Yeah, didn't I just tell you that at the beginning of the interview? Let me know. I'm trying to do my best.
Yes.
So I will definitely hit you up when I'm in Nashville.
Please do.
I know you're currently back from vacation, so it's time for you to relax and everything. Do you have any upcoming gigs, whether they're around your area or in Nashville, or is everything still kind of in the works for yourself?
A lot of stuff is coming up in the works. A lot of the bookings kind of happen around this time of year for me.
Okay.
But I am playing a show in September at the End, which is a great venue here in Nashville. It will be in September. I don't have an exact date set yet, but it will be in September. So look out for that.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you're going to post it on all your social medias as well, because you're very active, on your Instagram, your Facebook, your Links Direct. Is that the other one you have? Or Linktree. Sorry. Linktree?
Yes, my Linktree. Yes, it has everything in there. I'll put this show on there, and it has any article that's been written, has my website, which has all my shows. As much as I update that as much as possible.
Okay.
And yeah, it's usually pretty up to date. Probably everything will be on there at least 2 weeks in advance. So just kind of keep checking the gram. I also run a business in social media coordination because every artist, especially independent artist, needs a side job.
Sure.
Yeah. So I run a business called Maroki Media, and I basically run socials for a lot of bars, and I also run socials for a booster club at the moment. But I take small business clients, and I'm a small business that helps other small businesses. So they give me a budget and I tell them how we can work with it, because I think marketing and social media should be accessible to everyone. Yeah. And a lot of people just don't have the time. So I try to stay as active on my socials as well. But, after a day of working for wonderful clients, I am so tired of socials. Yeah. So bear with me.
That's incredible. Wow. So was that something you were looking to on the backside of yourself, because you were branding yourself and putting yourself out there, and then you were like, hey, I know how to do this, I can help other people, as well as being a musician?
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting way that I kind of got into owning my own business. When I turned 18 or graduated from high school, more so, my cousin, who owns some bars in South Texas, was like, hey, do you want to come help me run my socials? That way you can have a part-time job when you go to college. I was like, yeah, that would be amazing. I would love to. So it kind of started off as a favor between the two of us. And I just started to realize, this is really fun. I really enjoy this, and I think I can do something with this. So as I grew in my business degree, I started realizing how that works and how to own your own business, and what is an LLC, what is a sole proprietorship, what are the different tax brackets for self-employed versus not self-employed. And it was really nice to be able to help him. So then I just kind of started picking up more clients as time went on, and realized I was like, man, I'm kind of just running a business. So I got very into it, and I was like, well, music is hard to make money off of. It is not easy, especially for an independent artist. And I'll just keep my day job like everybody else. Every person you meet in Nashville who has a job is also a musician, and vice versa. Every single. So we've all got to do it, and I'm just grateful that I get to work from home.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really exciting, because that was something you learned kind of a little bit on the back end. Now, I wanted to also ask, versus your career, or if you were doing social media at this time, how did the pandemic affect your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very young in the pandemic. I was 17, turning 18.
Yeah.
So,
Before you graduated.
being in, right, as my senior year of high school, pretty much. I graduated in 2021 from high school. But, we still had to go to school wearing masks, and our proms were canceled. And, there was a lot happening at that time. And that's the time where you start deciding, where do you want to live? Where do you want to go to school? What do you want to do with your life?
Yes.
And it was incredibly stressful sitting there going, oh my gosh, my entire industry for music is shut down. The shows are shut down. The lives are shut down. The studios are shut down because no one could be in a room together. So it was scary to see the industry you want to pursue your life in just disappear and dissipate. And
exactly.
Yes, and that's where the big disruptor of streaming came in, because everybody started, that was the moment everyone was like, okay, I'm so bored out of my freaking mind. So I'm just going to stream and stream and stream and listen to music, watch movies, blah, blah, blah. But now, a lot of these streaming platforms have decided they're not going to pay very much to the artists.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to make money. And so COVID really put in this disruptor that has now made music so easy and accessible, which is wonderful, but also very hard on the independent artists that don't know how to capitalize off of that, which is why I got a degree. So that's kind of where my mind went, was because of COVID. I was like, let me go get a music business degree and see, where does the money actually come from? How can I do this?
Yes.
How can I do what I love for the rest of my life and not be broke doing it? And I still haven't fully figured it out, but we'll get there.
I mean, I don't think necessarily, it changes regardless of the type of, money type of world and industry that we're in. But I think pre-pandemic, we all just had to take a step back from everything. And I also have to say, a lot of radio shows versus mine or podcasts definitely became bigger because there was not that many people doing podcasts. Like, I feel like I hear that all the time now. They're like, oh, you have a podcast? We have a radio show. You come on a podcast if you like. But it's like, it wasn't like a huge thing, right? Like, everybody was probably looking into it more of the fact that, I don't know, they just wanted to put themselves out there too, because like you said, everybody was bored in the industry.
Yeah.
It was just, a fact that it kind of just is the start of, it was hard for us to build what we started in the beginning to where we are now. So it's nice that the world is back on, because even for me being a theater person, I loved going to shows. My sister was so sad when the world shut down. Like, she was like, I can't go to any shows. It's like my favorite thing to do, or go see people, audition, anything like that. So it was just very hard and very just hard on everybody, I feel like. But we all found distractions through it. And we also like to say, kind of feels like 2020 disappeared. It's the year that nobody remembers, because from 2020 we jumped immediately to 2021. So it like flew by so quickly, And then you graduated.
Yeah, it's so true.
So that's what you need to think about, Even though it set you back for something, in between that was something where maybe you needed time to sit back and think of what you wanted to do, as opposed to what you're doing now. Sometimes it's just space that the world gives us, I guess you could say. Positive way to look at it.
Right. Yes, for sure. I think it's just like so incredible to watch how everyone has adjusted to the last 4 years in their own way. I mean, we've had COVID, we've had wars start on the other side of the world, we've had presidential elections. We've had one of the craziest events literally happen like 2 days ago, with a former president getting shot. That was crazy. Oh my God, what's happening? No one knows. It's wild. I think just seeing
after that, you see memes everywhere, but you don't see any musician making a song out of it. So I'm like, okay, that's somewhat good, because sometimes that just randomly happens too. It's just different things that happen, but yeah. I understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
with that, Maddie.
It's
So-
wild. These past 4 years have flown by. I feel like 18 to almost 22 doesn't even exist in my mind.
No, you're 21, so you're almost there. Yeah. But you're growing.
Yeah.
You're a growing musician. You know what you love to do. You know what you're putting out there, and you're getting positive back. You're learning more,
Yes.
and hopefully we can get you on more tours, more shows. I don't know if you've ever been to New Jersey. We'd love to have you. No, you've only been to Texas. So come to the
I've
Eastern.
definitely thought about doing more like the county fair route. And I've looked into New Jersey a little bit because there is actually a market there that I have a girlfriend of mine. She's from New Jersey. I can't remember exactly where, but it's small. So she's from New Jersey, and she's always said, she's like, we would come see you. It's like, great. I'll be there.
I want to know where she lives now. It's small because I live in the cap. I live near New York, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wonder what town that your friend lives in, because that's pretty exciting. So, if you come to New Jersey, let us know, please, because now you have Chris's
I definitely will.
Because we could even maybe have you in studio too, because we even have like a in studio person, not home studio, but like in studio, and you can perform. So think about it. We'll see what we can do, within time for everything.
Yeah, I'd love
definitely,
to. That would be so fun.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely want to say, so if you can give out your social media, where people can find you and your music.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at the Mattie Rose. It's the as in the word, and then Mattie, Mattie. My mother said I had to be special, so it's the Mattie Rose. I don't put my last name on anything, but it's Kelton. But it's at the Mattie Rose, and then on Facebook it's Mattie Rose Kelton, because Facebook needs your full name for legal purposes.
Yes.
So that's pretty much it. All of it is in my link tree, which I am happy to send you. And it's just linkpr.ee/Mattie Rose. It's very easy to find, and I am always available for shows, questions, podcasts, whatever. I'm very, very easygoing when it comes to music. As long as people love it, I love it. I just want to make music that people love, and I want to talk about it.
Well, I love that. I think that's amazing. And that's another reason why we communicated today too, because I have to say, a lot with the music that you sing and you perform, do you feel like you would also want to try, well, it's different type of genre versus country, but would you ever want to do like country R&B, or would you ever want to do country like pop-ish versus like Western? Because I know it's all different types that you have a whole, spectrum of what you can do.
Absolutely. Just to clarify, because you cut out a little bit, but I think I got it. You want to know kind of where my country music sits genre-wise.
Yes, or exactly what you feel like you want to do next with it.
Okay.
Versus where you
absolutely.
Of course.
I gotcha. Yeah, I definitely sit more on the Western side. I write a lot of stuff that you would probably hear your grandpappy driving in his tractor with. And I think right now it's just writing a lot and getting to that kind of 100 song mark. I'm almost there, but the goal is to write 100 songs by the end of next year. So we're on track, but I'm really doing that, focusing in on these 4 songs that I'm recording in November with Fort Worth Sound Studio. I will be in Texas recording to make sure I have that Texas sound from my very wonderful musician friends down there. And I'm bringing some Nashville people with me. So right now it's just writing and recording and hopefully releasing in 2025.
Yeah. And you have just a lot upcoming that we're excited to hear and see about that you'll be posting.
Yes, absolutely.
Real quick, I don't know if you can see this comment as well that is down below. We have a person that's tuning in, Aaron Himes. He wants to know what kind of music that you have, Mattie. I think he just started.
Absolutely. Hi, Aaron. I am a Texas country writer. I split my time between Nashville and Texas, but I write a lot of Texas country, and it's very Western, It's very old school. Think Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Patsy Cline. Just trying to bring that old school feeling back to the world.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. You know, you don't hear a lot of Texas country type of music. Like you said, a lot on the radio now is pop, more pop country. And I mean, I still like it regardless of it being country or not. But I definitely feel like with a nice Texas country as era that you put on, it definitely is beautiful genre-wise, because as you're trying to bring it back, other people are going to be like, what is this? Like, did you create a new genre that people like don't know about, that like you started technically in the generation?
No, I wish I was that good. I am not. But no, it's kind of a genre that unless you live it, or someone tells you about it, it's not as big as you think. But if you're in Texas, you go to a bar and that's all they're going to play is Texas country, and the whole bar will know it. And so I'm trying to bring that to the rest of the US and have everyone experience the fun that I got to experience as a kid going to my bar for the first time in my little town, you know, just that kind of thing. So it's a very homey feeling.
Open mic? Was it your show? What were you doing?
No, the bars in Texas, most of them are dance halls. So they're 18 plus, and then they put a little stamp on your hand that says you're underage. So you can go in there and still have fun. You can play Jenga. It's very fun and friendly. And usually your parents go with you the first time, but it's kind of a rite of passage in Texas, and it is very fun.
Is it country line dancing? Fun.
There is country line dancing for sure, but it's also country and western dancing, like two-stepping and partner dancing, and you get to see a lot of really the better people, not myself, but the better people will do flips, and it's very cool. I love to dance. It is kind of where a lot of my explanation comes from.
Have you created a song that you can country line dance to? You should look into that.
You know what? You might be able to country dance to Mrs. Right. It may be possible. But I do have some in the future that are some wonderful waltzes, some very ballroom waltzes, and I'm so excited to show everybody.
Oh, is this mid-November? Is this into the next year?
Say that again.
I was going to say, is this mid-November? Is this into the next year? Or stay tuned?
Yeah, a lot of two of them are very good dancing songs that I'm recording in mid-November. One of them has a very big train beat, which if you don't know what that is, I'll do it for you. It'll seem very silly, but it's like like it sounds like a train.
I like that.
Which is a very
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a very dancey beat. And so I'll record that in November, and then hopefully within the next few months after that, get some content, get some stuff going for the peeps, and release it early in the year.
Kind of see what works best for you, what you like. Yeah, that's awesome. I wish you so much luck. I think it's incredible. I really hope you keep us updated when you are around New Jersey, New York area. Like I said, we'd love to have you in person. We love doing a home, in studio as well versus home interviews. So don't, hesitate to reach us out when you're nearby. But I think it's amazing what you're doing. I wish you a lot of luck. I can't wait for more collaborations that you're looking and doing and being a part of. And, always reach out to different people. I mean, even for yourself, you said that you can dance to Mrs. Right. Why don't you do this? Why don't you listen to your song? Come up with an easy beat as opposed to a dance that everyone can do. Post it on TikTok as a reel, post it on Instagram as a reel, and see yourself blow up that way. A lot of people are doing it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Definitely. Thank you for having me. This has been
that Dani Perro can do from the Dani Perro Show. She'll do it. But if it's too complicated, like this is out there, I can't break my neck for somebody. They're like. I used to do amazing at dancing, and they're just all complicated.
They're very hard. I know.
But if you can come up with something with your girlfriends as like a fun gal, dance type of thing, let's see what you can do. You just got that from
absolutely.
You can look into doing something like that, or reach out to your co-writer. Hey, I just got an idea on a radio show I was on. I was told I should do my own dance for this song. It always makes it more popular, right? Because everybody's going to use that song in the track of the reel. So you're going to get more hits that way. And if it's not a complicated dance and it's super fun, then people are going to keep trying to learn it over and over and over and over again. Like listen to your song like 10,000 times. So it'll be stuck in their head in the first place. So there's many different things you can do, Mattie. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the advice. This is fantastic. Thank you. That's a great idea.
I'm excited if you actually can do something like this because I've never given advice like this. This just came out of the blue during the interview. So I was like, I'm manifesting something with you and seeing what we can do.
I love it. I love it.
I think it'll be really good for you. And it might be able to push you a little bit higher than you expect for yourself. You never know who's tuning in or being a part of the show. So.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for having me. And this has been wonderful. I'm so glad we got to talk.
Yeah, like 3 minutes left of the interview and you started freezing on me. I'm like, I can't hear you now.
I know. I'm sorry if I'm like cutting out terribly. Gosh, I'm sure my Wi-Fi is awful, but
no, I don't think
we'll do how we do.
Mid-storm error. I was just thundering during the interview, but you couldn't hear it that bad, so it was fine. But I definitely have to say it's been amazing having you. I really do appreciate the time you gave us today. We are just a text message away or a message, and you're more than welcome to share this show on social media. Like I said, we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. You can tag your friends. And if you know any musicians that also would like to be on the show, you could reach out to Christopher. We'd love to have him. We would give him the referral as well of you being on the show. Just like helping a lot of different musicians in the industry. Any way we can help them grow as well as everyone else. We're all in it together.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. And yeah, if you guys ever need anything, you've got my number, you've got my email, so just let me know.
I definitely will. Well, again, I really do appreciate your time today, Mattie. Thank you so much for giving us. Make sure you guys all tune in next week on every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're excited to have you, and have a great night, everyone. Make sure you guys stay tuned every Tuesday.
Bye, guys.